Let's see. Maybe I got it. All right, I think this is it. I think I did it. Maybe I didn't. Let's see. What was that? View channel, live. All right, that's it. So I think the link worked. Okay. All right, this is it. All right. So, welcome. Welcome to the live stream. Sorry for the little technical stuff in the beginning. This is my second live stream ever. Um just want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am I am a middle-aged man, married, a couple kids. Um I'm in between jobs right now. Uh I am a camera operator for television shows and films. And there's been a downturn in the business, as I think is the case with a lot of businesses these days. 15 years in the business, thousands, tens of thousands of hours worked, always working full time, and then up until the writers and actors strike a couple years ago, uh, it all the work kind of went away. Everything contracted, and it kind of left us out in the lurch. I live in New York City. There's always plenty of work here, and it all went away. There are just a handful of shows going on right now. I was lucky in the fall to be working on a couple of them, um, and I have had a lot of downtime. So I've been involved a little bit in local politics, attending community board meetings, block association meetings. I've been working hard to get a stop sign put in, just little communities things, and it kind of little fire under me. So I am, yeah. So I decided, what if I start live streaming some of my thoughts and my ideas, some of the stuff I find online throughout the day. Maybe you guys want to talk about it. Maybe it's stuff you guys are interested in too. Um, I feel like I'm not the only one in this position of feeling left out in the lurch, um, searching for possibly a new direction in life, searching for, the next job, hoping that a business or an industry will come back. And, and yeah, so yeah, so that's kind of what I want to do with this live stream. Like I said, this is my second one ever. Um, I've got some plans. See this back here? This lovely white backdrop. I hate it. I want to get rid of it. I think I'm gonna order a chroma screen, so it's just me. Chroma key everything out. I'd like to talk to you guys. Maybe we could do, some kind of, chatting, or, um, you know, call in stuff, because this is important. Everything's changing. There's a lot of shit going on in the government right now that seems unfair and seems misguided and very one sided. And I want to talk about that. So I don't know if anybody's here for my comment on that Reddit post, but that's kind of what I want to focus on today. Is this post from Fed News listing the agencies uh, with mass layoffs to probationary employees. Now, if you don't know what a probationary employee is, I felt like I had a pretty good grasp on it, but just in case, I looked it up, and according to the government jobs website, uh, every new government employee or supervisor, you generally complete a 1 year probationary period. Some agencies require a longer probationary period, and other agencies might not require it at all. So during your probationary period, you're more likely to be fired, or it's easier for you to be fired. So what seems to be happening now is that Donald Trump and Elon Musk are accelerating their purge and firing as many people as they can in the federal government as an effort to cut the bureaucracy. But it seems to me, it seems very uninformed and just kind of doing it without any real thought, just doing it the easiest way they can. And it seems like the easiest way they can now is to fire these probationary employees who have just got their jobs and are hoping to complete their probationary period uh, and get more of a solid, protected job in the government. So this caught my eye this morning. I've just started following this subreddit, Fed News. Fed News is a subreddit that provides a secure space for United States federal government employees to express their opinions, share experiences, and discuss news and information pertinent to their employment. It's not affiliated with the United States government at all. It seems to me like this is a good place to share your gripes or provide us people that aren't in the federal government a window into what's going on. And I think this subreddit is very important right now. I think it's very important, and I think it's if you guys are into Reddit, I think it's one that we should be following because you're getting firsthand accounts of what's going on in the government right now. So let's see. So this post caught my attention this morning. List of agencies with mass layoffs to probationary employees. Here's a confirmed list of agencies with layoffs. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, Department of Education, Department of Energy, General Services Administration, Office of Personnel Management, Small Business Administration, U.S. Forest Service, Veterans Affairs, National Nuclear Security Administration, Housing and Urban Development, Bonneville Power Association, which is a subdivision of the Department of Energy, and then there's a bunch that are rumored but not confirmed. This is scary to me, right? This is what are we in? Like week 3 of this, and we are purging thousands and thousands of federal employees. And we're starting with the easiest ones, which are everybody on a probationary period. So if you're on a probationary period, this top comment got me right here. Wife has been federal for 19 years. So she had been employed by the federal government for 19 years and accepted a promotion, okay, which came with a probationary period. So a lot of these, sometimes you're not even new to the government. You have accepted a promotion. You've accepted something else, something higher. You've put your work in. You're acknowledged for your work, and you're given a promotion. And now, just because you've given a promotion, you are now fired because you're in your probationary period, and it's much easier to get rid of you. Let's see. And then she got notified of the acts. We're doing research to appeal. Fingers crossed someone will start a class action for this shit. Of course, I'm sure that's going to happen. but these things take time. This is the game plan, I assume, is that take just dump the shit on everybody, and while everybody's scrambling and trying to clean it up and go through the proper motions, people will just give up. Like, how's this person who just got fired right here? This guy's wife. How is she? File a class action, but she won't get her job back, right? She won't. She will not get her job back. There's no way, right? She's gonna have to wait, and hopefully a lawsuit's gonna be brought. But what's she gonna do in these months that she's not working? I'm going through the same thing. It's been a couple months since I've had even one day of work, and what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to wait around for work or look for something new? All right, a lot of us don't have the resources to wait around and to hopefully wait it out and get our job back. That's just the reality of it. Um, let's see. Department of Education probationary employees terminated, including National Nuclear Security Administration. There's a link to a political article. I haven't done a lot of research, so maybe we'll be doing research together. Also, to anybody watching, if you have experience or you're dealing with this, I'd love to hear from you in the chat. Maybe, like I said, I'm brand new to this, but I would love to, kind of set up some kind of call-in thing where I'd love to talk to you directly and we could chat about it, because I don't know how long I can listen to myself talk about it myself. This is a community. This is a national issue. This is something that affects, these federal employees, but it's also going to affect us, right? Because a lot of us rely on these agencies for services and goods. There was I found one guy posted and was talking about how he works for the Forest Service. I think it was this post. I wish I saved that post, but let's see. I don't think it's here. Maybe he deleted it. Let me see if I can find it. Um, maybe it was the other post. Um, comment source. Let's see. Okay, so maybe it was this post that I found. Um, Sorry, give me a second. It's probably not the most entertaining, but I want to work this kind of like as a podcast to kind of just go through. You guys can be listening to this in the background. Um, I really don't see that one, but it was this comment. This guy worked for the forest, for the Parks Department, and got hired permanent December, 1 year probationary period. In my permanent position, though I've technically been in the same position and on the same team for about 3 years, I'm so scared and sad. Um, these people, the federal government employs, let's see, let's look this up. So this is another thing I want to do with this is, we live in a world where everything needs to come in like these little 10 to 20 second sound bites, and you get the highlights of what's going on. You get a viral clip of somebody uh saying something provocative, and we're supposed to infer all this. We're supposed to infer everything through that 20-second clip, but the reality of it is it's much more complicated than that, right? It's much more nuanced, and there's subtleties to it. The live stream I did yesterday, I tried to focus solely on that silly press conference that Musk had in the Oval Office with Trump when his kid was like all over the place. Everybody focused on, what his kid said, but I tried to get through that whole press conference. And there are some things that Elon's saying in that press conference that make sense, that you make you go, okay, and then you look it up and you try to find the truth in it. And there is a little truth to that. There is, a little slice of truth. um, but the danger is this slice of truth is coming from one person who is railing against the bureaucracy, but yet who is hired by the government as an unelected official. He keeps railing on and on about democracy. Ooh, I got this little shadow. This is bothering me. I got this shadow here. Let me see if I can get rid of it. As a camera guy, I'm a little embarrassed by my setup here. I think I got rid of that. Let's see. Okay, I think that's a little bit better. But it's sorry, I got lost. But yeah, you need to dig. You need to see. You need to go through all of it. And a lot of us don't have the time to. But if you do have the time, let's watch. Let's watch together. Let's figure it out. I'd like to show you how I go through these posts and how I fact check and where I find my sources, and what I think the important points are. And hopefully we can together figure out exactly what's going on. Right? That's I think that's the first step, is to understand what's happening. And then and then the next step is, what actions do we take? This is what we have to do. And unfortunately, the time for real action is a little bit too late, because we have lost the election. We have little support in the government. And, what are we going to do? So, anyway, I've gotten off topic here. So, that's what I wanted to do. Let's find out how many people the U.S. government hires. U.S. government, federal employee. Sorry, federal employee numbers. Okay, so it's about 2.4 million people. All right, so our government employs about 2.4 million people. About 20% are in Washington, D.C., in the neighboring states of Maryland, Virginia, and then about 80% live outside the capital region. Now, I have a question about this. These federal employees, do they count military? I don't think they do. Government employee numbers include military. No, right? So the federal government, no, the employee numbers do not include military personnel. The federal government does employ about 2.25 million military personnel. Okay, of about 1 million are reservists. So, okay, so the federal government employs, what did I say, 2.4, right? So 2.4 million federal employees plus another 2.2, right? So altogether, including the military, let's say it's about 4.6 million people, including the military, that the federal government employs. All right, and so the goal here, I think, is to purge and get rid of as many employees as possible. And like I said, the easiest way to do that is through these probationary employees. A lot of these people who have gone to college, who have focused on getting a career in the government, and have focused on doing that, and now have gotten their positions in the government, and now are being fired. Okay, so let's see. This is an article from yesterday, updated 2 hours ago. The Veterans Administration has fired more than 1,000 people. Um, let's see. They've entered the IRS, raising fears of cuts at tax collecting agency. So I guess this is probably a good time to not pay your taxes if you're gonna do that. I get this is probably a good time for that. So gear up. You know, if you guys want to try that, let me know. So let me know how that goes. Um, Also, termination notices sent to workers at the Education Department and Small Business Administration. Um, you know, these these uh, these cuts seem very is trite the word that I'm looking for. It seems very uh, just they're looking for the easiest way to do it, right? They're not informing themselves, they're not educating themselves as to whether or not these positions are important or whether or not these people are important. It's just the easiest way to do it. Um, and it seems like Elon Musk is the one who is making all of these decisions. Um, it's very, it's alarming. It's alarming. Um, I saw this. Let's see. I was looking at this the other day. I'm a big Bernie guy. I had supported him in 2016. I thought he was the person for the job. I felt like he was treated very unfairly, and he was pushed out by the establishment and by his own party. And I think that was probably a mistake. So let's see. Let's go to my history. I'm usually on the phone, so I don't know where the history section is here. Post, comments, saved, hidden, upvoted, downvoted, maybe upvoted. I'm pretty sure I upvoted it. Let's see. Here it is. Okay, I want to show you guys this. This is my man, and he's speaking the truth. It says he's in full panic mode, but I would say full pissed off mode. So let's see. Let's see what this is all about here. Okay, I'm gonna blow it up big for you, and we're going to turn the sound on, and we're going to see what he has to say. Uh, Here we go.
What is going on in this country, not only with education, but with other institutions, is the president is operating in a very authoritarian, illegal, and unconstitutional way. If they want changes in the Department of Education, they want to abolish the Department of Education, fine, come to Congress.
Yes, exactly. Come to Congress, and this is one of the things I noticed about the press conference they had a couple days ago with Elon Musk. He admitted he was going to make mistakes. He admitted he was going to get things wrong, which is good to hear. And I think something that I don't know if I'd ever hear Trump say, but it, sure, you're going to admit that you're going to get things wrong, and his thing is he's being transparent about it. His Doge account on X is telling everybody what they're doing and walking through it, and it's all transparent. And if he's going to get things wrong, people will let him know. But what is? Let's look into that. Okay? So first of all, you're going to put everything on your own platform, so you're going to be benefiting from the increased traffic. You're going to be benefiting financially, and then also too, like, so we call you out on X, but like, is he going to do anything about it? No, he's not going to do anything about it. You know how he is on his social media platform. It's like arguing with a teenager, right? Somebody who thinks that they're right all the time. I know I have two teenagers, but you know, he has his conviction, and he's read some inflammatory posts, and he's heard some neat little posts online, and then he has his mind made up. And if anybody calls him out on his shit on X, they'll, he pushes back. He doesn't. I don't know if I've ever read anything where he has admitted that he's wrong. And if you guys do, please send a link in the comments or the chat, and we'll check it out. But the only time I heard him admit that he wasn't right was when he got caught red-handed playing a game that he said he was one of the best in, and he got caught for having other people play the game with him. I think it was like Warhammer or something. But anyway, come to Congress. That's what Bernie's saying. Come to Congress. That's how it works. Elon's railing against this bureaucracy, but the bureaucracy most of the time is using funds appropriated from Congress. They approve the budget. They approve where the money goes. And this is money that's already been approved by Congress, by your representatives, not by some bureaucrat who has just, found this money or is stealing from your pockets. It's the legislative branch that is giving it to them. And that's what Bernie is saying. He's saying, you want to abolish these things, you want to cut funds, you need to come to the legislative branch, because that is who decides where the money goes.
Is the process. That is what our Constitution is about. We have three separate branches of government: the executive, the legislative, and the judiciary. We are not, and cannot, and must not move to all power in one branch.
Senator, does that mean you're worried about oversight for something like Robert F. Kennedy's Jr.? Like, once he's confirmed, are you concerned that you won't have that?
I am concerned that there is a real look. It is a little bit weird, just a little bit weird, that the President of the United States is now head of the Kennedy Center. My the only person in America think that's a little bit strange. We have other people who know a little bit about culture, maybe even more than the President. But what is clearly happening in this country right now, every single day, with Musk, with President Trump, is more and more power going to fewer and fewer people, and often people who have huge amounts of money.
Can you tell me about your decision to co-sponsor Kane's Gaza bill?
I'm just a middle school teacher. Can I get a
I'm just a middle school teacher. Let me get a picture. But yeah, this is the problem. I think this is why I love Bernie, because he speaks to me, and I feel like he speaks for me, because this is the problem. This is the problem. Too much power getting in the hands of fewer and fewer people, and those few people are these, enormously wealthy oligarchs who have through deregulation gained power and money, and and have made things unfair for people trying to compete. So it's a tough pill to swallow, and I think we are in trouble. Okay. So, and here's a post, right? So, like, if any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, we do not live in a democracy. See, this is the bullshit. This is the bullshit that we're spewing. It's not, he's framing it like any judge can stop everything that we do. We do not live in a democracy. First of all, that, here's the reply. Checks and balances exist so that one guy can't rule unchecked. Okay, and this tweet is full of bullshit. Any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, which that is not happening. That is not happening. Cases are being brought by states to judges, and some of these actions are allowed to continue. A lot are not, because they're either unconstitutional or they're against the law. And this is the danger. This is the danger. This on the surface, uh, on the surface, when you hear Musk and Trump at that, here I'll load it up. When you hear him at this press conference and you hear him talk about it, it's probably my history, and it's this. Okay, so when you hear him talk about it,
This is Michelin quality olive oil, starting at
I hate
$16.
this.
Graza, single origin
I wish-
olive oil that's made to be used.
Maybe.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, hello, everyone. Maybe if I get really popular, fingers crossed, and if I get my chroma key back there, and if I start making this channel what I want it to be. This is also what I want to do too, because this shit gets boring, right? I mean, how long can you listen to me talk about shit? I kind of want to make it almost more like a legitimate news station, right? So this could be like a little podcast section, but also what I want to do is, maybe do some remotes, go out on the street. I live in New York City. Talk to people, interview people. That's kind of the direction where I want to take this channel, because this does get boring. But this is important. But I want to throw, maybe it's got to have a little entertainment in there, right? And I've got like 2 people watching right now. People, float in and float out. Hopefully you learn something, and that's great. But I want to keep you guys watching, and breaking this stuff up, I think, would be advantageous. But anyway, here is what I wanted to show you. Let's see. Let's see where we're at.
Take up to a year to get on the list, and even once on the list,
Okay, that's like the do not pay thing.
we are going to complain. If money is spent badly, if your taxpayer dollars are not spent in a sensible and frugal manner, then that's not okay. Your tax dollars need to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people.
Right, but see here, this is the whole problem, right? That on the surface, that sounds good. Needs to be spent wisely on things that matter to the people. But that's kind of like the system that's set up already, because it can't be one person deciding what's good for the people. That's the danger. That's the danger there. And it's appealing. It sounds really appealing. It sounds like they're fighting for you. But, these 2 people got to where they are by fucking people over constantly. Fucking people over. And now they're in the Oval Office preaching that they are here for you now, which is bullshit. So we've lost everybody. Let's see what's going on here. Maybe we can reset here, and let's see. I am going to San Francisco.
2 Chainz, why did you lie to Drake about being good? Kendrick said.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna check out my comment. Let's go. Come on. View profile. I'm gonna check out my comment here. Somebody upvoted it. Okay. So I think I've lost everybody. Okay. Let's see. I don't know. Maybe we'll take a little break and come back later. I don't know. How long have we been going here? We've been live streaming for, what time is it? Oh, almost an hour. That's good. But anyway. Oh, somebody else is watching. I wonder if that's a mod. That's what happens on Twitch too, right? You get mods. If you're not a mod, Here, do this. If you're not a mod, say something in the chat. That's my challenge to you. If you're not a mod, say something in the chat. Oh, there's 3 people. If you're not mods, say something in the chat. So I know. All right. Waiting. I'm waiting. There's a little delay. I'm not going to do anything until somebody says something in the chat. Waiting. Still waiting. Hold on, there's a delay here. Oh, look at that! Oh, no shit. Okay, cool. Somebody's actually watching me. I love it. Okay, there's a little delay, so you're gonna see, you've seen my reaction delayed. All right, so what are we gonna do? Should we keep talking about the mass firing? We'll go back to this Fed News post. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see. We'll scroll Fed News. Let's see if we can dig up any. Let's see. Probationary employee meeting happening now at NIH. Okay, so NIH. What is NIH? I don't even fucking know. So NIH is National Institutes of Health. Okay, let's see. What does the National Institute of Health do? About NIH, who we are. There we go. The organization. Okay, here we go. NIH. National Institutes of Health is made up of 27 different components called the institutes and center. Each has its own specific research agenda, often focusing on particular diseases or body systems. All but 3 of these components receive their funding directly from Congress and administrate their own budgets. NIH leadership plays an active role in shaping the agency's research planning, activities, and outlook. Okay, so sounds pretty important. What we do, okay, no, I don't want to give any feedback. Okay, so what we do, Americans today are living longer and healthier thanks in large part to NIH-funded medical research. Okay, so they fund medical research. What's their budget? Let's figure this out. NIH annual budget. Okay. National Institutes of Health annual budget is nearly $48 billion. Okay, so $48 billion is their annual budget. Okay, so 48 annual budget. Let's see, the total U.S. budget, 4.92 trillion. 4.92 trillion. Okay, so let's do some quick math here. Sorry, we are going to do some math. Calculator. Here we go. No, calculator. All right, so 48 billion. Oh, there's no commas. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 48 billion. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. So it's just 48. 48 divided by 492. Okay. Times 100. So that's about 9 to 10%, right? 9 to 10% of the annual budget. That's a pretty big portion. It's a pretty big portion. All right. So, okay, could that be fat and bloated? A little bit, maybe. Let's see. Maybe. So, maybe they need to cut some jobs. Let's see. Let's see. Bracing for the inevitable update. I've been told that there's a list of about 3,000 people who are lined up to be let go. Leadership can justify some people staying, but they aren't allowing any so far. So, okay. So we ran the numbers, right? So NIH, that's surprising. I hope I did the math right, but NIH is approximately 10% of the annual US budget. Okay, they do disease research and stuff. They're probably going to let go about 3,000 people. Let's see, NIH, how many people do they employ? NIH, let's look that up. How many people 18,000 people in 18,500 people in 2021. All right. So, and they want to fire about 3,000 people. So, okay, 3,000 people. I'm not going to do that on my computer. I'll do that. I just got to help. You just got to bear with me here while I do the, so 3,000 out of 18,500. So they're going to cut about 15%. 15% of everybody that works there. So, you know, these are like, I feel like this is the problem, right? This all seems reasonable to me, right? If you're going to cut the fat, you're going to cut the bureaucracy, you're going to cut the budget. It seems reasonable, but it's like the way that they're doing it. It's like as the way they're doing it, it's like as quickly as possible. It cannot possibly be informed. It can't be thought out and informed. You can't like furlough 15% of your workforce, and I'm sure this is what they're trying to do across the board, right? They've just done some numbers. I'm guessing here, right? So Elon's up at the top, right? He's at the top of the pyramid, the top of the Doge pyramid. I fucking hate saying Doge. So stupid. But anyway, so he's at the top of the pyramid, and he is in charge. And he's probably made this edict, surrounded himself by his minions that will do whatever he says and that pay lip service to him, just probably exactly like Trump, right? Birds of a feather, surrounding himself with yes men. And I bet you he said, okay, in order to save this much money, in order to cut $1 trillion from the budget, we need to cut 15% of federal employees across the board. But how can you do that? And then you do that in thanks for covering this. Very scary for a lot of good federal employees. Keep going. Awareness is key. Thank you very much. So awareness is key, and you can only like suppose what the thinking is here, because we are not being told everything. We're being told the talking points. It's being presented in a way that that sounds nice and practical on the surface, but like the speed at which this is happening it's scary, and it's basically one person deciding all of this. So I got off track a little bit, but very we should, what was I trying to say? 15%, right? 15% of the budget. So 15% of employees. So how are you supposed to do that in an organization such as the National Institute of Health? let's go back to that website, NIH, right? So they do medical research, who we are, what we do, right? Enhance health, lengthen life, reduce illness and disability, the impact of NIH research, detecting cancer, prevention screening, building a better flu vaccine. I'm sure they had a big role in the COVID vaccine. So I don't know. I'm supposing that, but let's look it up, right? NIH, COVID vaccine. Let's see. News. Protective skeptic serve as NIH. COVID vaccine mandate skeptic to serve as NIH acting director. Okay, this is all great. Sponsored trial of nasal COVID-19 vaccine opens. All right, so they sponsor new vaccines. They develop new vaccines. This is what our funding goes to, right? It seems very important. And these people that work at these organizations, this is just one organization. It seems very necessary, and to go into these departments and just purge in 2 weeks 15% of the workforce of a broad. This is like a very broad institute, right? I mean, they probably grant research, they grant studies, they develop vaccines, disease prevention, I'm sure, and in the middle of a bird flu, epidemic, possibly pandemic, possibly infecting humans. I mean, let's search in, bird flu on the NIH website. Let's see what we come up with here. Standby. NIH officials assess threat of H5N1. Okay. They research into how dangerous the bird flu is going to be. They're researching mutations in the bird flu. They're assessing avian influenza in dairy milk. I mean, it's like this is a very important branch of our government that is being labeled wasteful bureaucracy, and is being told to purge 15% of their workforce, according to this person who posted on the Fed News subreddit. This is why I love Reddit, because it's usually positive. It's usually informed. The comments are, I'm on Instagram a lot. I don't do Facebook anymore. But this is why I love Reddit, is because, Reddit's got its problems too, but anyway, but out of all the social media sites, I enjoy Reddit probably the most, because, it's thoughtful posts. I like the upvoting system, and the same thing, I like the upvoting system with comments too. And usually the good comments rise to the top, right? So this post right here, regardless of what they say or what an email you receive says, this is not a reflection of you, your skills, and your value. It's very positive. This is good. These people are going through a traumatic time, and these comments are, I've always loved the comments on Reddit. I think it's a good place to feel safe. You get made fun of. It can get a little broy sometimes, but I feel like when it needs to be serious and people need to be lifted up, the comment section usually reflects that. But anyway, getting off topic here. I wonder too. This is another thing too. If I'm doing this, if I'm scrolling through the website, it's probably better if if I increase the font size, right? So you guys can read it. Because right now it looks like I'm looking this on my phone. You have no fucking clue what I'm looking at. So let's see. I usually don't do this, but let's see. It would probably be in view. Well, I could do that later. That's boring. You don't want to see that. So I'm gonna make a note here. Make browser text larger. Right? Because if you guys are following along with me, you should be able to read what I'm reading. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So there you go. Again, like I don't know if anybody new is joining me. Is this kind of like I kind of like this because I did this yesterday, nobody was watching, and now I've got generally between 4 and 6 people watching at a time. So I like this. I'm gonna try to keep doing this. Like I said, I'm going to improve. I want to chroma key. I keep saying this. I'm gonna chroma key this out. This is just like a drop that I have back here. I have some lighting equipment. I've got a small lighting set up there. I want to, I've got ideas, and then we'll do maybe a couple remotes. I've got a lot of film buddies who I'm sure would go out with me. We could do some remote stuff. I've had this idea to do some remote stuff covering Luigi. I mean, I'm right there. I could get to the jail real quick. I could get to the courthouse arraignments, stuff like that. I mean, that's huge. Nobody's talking about that anymore because there's all this clusterfuck of a government is happening. But I would love to go out and interview the crowds there. It's my city. I would love to show you guys the city and what's going on in and around. Maybe focus a little bit on local politics too. I'm in this neighborhood in Queens called Forest Hills. It's a great neighborhood. I used to, my family, we lived in Brooklyn for uh, decades, like 10, 15 years, and then we got a house out in Queens, and I gotta say, I really like it. Um, but yeah, so once I bought the property, you kind of feel you have this like you get this uh feeling of responsibility to your neighborhood. So I've been getting involved in community board meetings, traffic safety, little things in the neighborhood that really kind of help me feel uh, purposeful, especially during this time where I'm not working as much. Um, so yeah, so that's so I'd like to maybe show you guys what's going on, little local Queens politics. Maybe get some viewers from the local area so they know what's going on. Some of it might be interesting to you too. Like there's like casinos that they want to put in. People arguing about that. What was the thing last year? Last uh, last meeting. I don't know. It's a little entertaining. You get to know. I found out that my state senator is opposed to the congestion pricing, which kind of didn't surprise me. He's kind of like an old school, like Italian guy. It seems like he's a career politician, career New York politician. His name's Joseph Adabo. Uh, it seems like he likes to play the game. We're a little bit further out in Queens, so there's more, people like to commute more here. I think there's more drivers than where I was in Brooklyn. But, the train's right here and the buses are great. And I personally hate driving in the city because it's a fucking mess and people suck. And I'd rather be sitting on a train reading a book or, listening to some music or on my phone and let somebody else drive me than dealing with, asshole New York drivers. But anyway, I digress. These are just some of the ideas that I've had. And then hopefully, second live stream, it's only going to get better and better. I promise you. Maybe we could come up with some kind of schedule, a little morning show, a little news morning show for you guys. Improve the graphics a little bit, make the font bigger, that kind of stuff. And if you guys, I'd love to hear from you too. I know there's like 2 or 3 people watching, but if you got any productive criticism, constructive criticism, please let me know. All right. But I will, while we're offline, I will definitely make the font bigger on here because you guys should be reading what I'm reading. All right. Anyway, so let's just stick with this Fed News subreddit here. If you're just joining in, I found this, when all the shit started going down, there were a couple posts that came up in the popular feed. It will come up in the popular feed, and I was like, oh, this looks like this could be an important subreddit coming up. Especially for everything that's going on in the country right now. What is this? Thoughts are with our probationary colleagues today. I cannot imagine the sadness and disappointment being felt by thousands today who went through all the extremely arduous and untimely process of joining. I mean, like, this is it. Like, this is so true, right? Like, a lot of these people, they go through college preparing for a job in the federal government, right? And they prepare for that, right? And then to have this happen arbitrarily, this has got to be arbitrary. These people are on probation. We can fire them. We don't have to worry about any kind of union getting involved. And it's, much easier to fire these probationary hires. So, it's all these people, young, I'm sure overwhelmingly young people too, right? Like, it's like all these Gen Z, I mean, how many times have these people gotten fucked over, right? How many fucking times? The Great Recession, COVID, the first Trump presidency, climate change, and now this, it's like these people, these are like, that was 2025, right? So a lot of these people were born right around 2000, right? Right around the time of 9/11. It's like, welcome to the world, kid. And you go through all of this stuff and now you get fired because Elon has a quota that every department has to make. It's so fucked up. But but here's the post. I cannot begin to imagine the sadness and disappointment being felt by thousands today who went through the extremely arduous and untimely process of joining the government just to be terminated for no reason. All of my thoughts are with you all today. For some reason, this is hitting harder than all of the other changes. You didn't deserve this, and you're taking the bright future of the federal government with you as you leave. Like, this is so I mean, it's so fucking true. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's you're getting rid of all the young people, the young blood, right? For no reason at all. For no reason at all. Um, you know, it's I went through something similar, in our business, in the film business. We it's just been downsizing. We kind of all knew that it was coming. Um, this glut of TV shows, mostly TV, right? New York is the TV town. LA used to be, mostly feature films, but LA's kind of like crashing down as far as that industry is concerned. I've got a couple friends out there. They're really struggling. There's not a lot of TV being shot there. There's not a lot of movies being shot there. But and then Atlanta was the other. It's basically the major hubs in North America. It's LA, New York, Atlanta, and Vancouver. And out of all of those four places, New York is pretty much the TV town. There, movies come here, but it's tons of TV. And for the last 5 or 10 years, it's been nothing but, exponential growth. More TV shows upon TV shows. I used to know everybody. I used to know everybody in the camera department. Across the city. And, towards the end, it was like, who are these people? There's all these new hires, you got everybody in, and we knew it had to contract, because there's no way, there's no way people could watch all of it. But so yeah, so I think they took the writer's strike as an opportunity to pull back. So, and then now that's where we are. So I can kind of relate to this as somebody who is, I'm still working, just not as much as I was before. But I can relate to being kicked to the curb, especially especially when you feel like you have the experience, the talent, and the training for the job, and then just to be let go, pretty much because you don't know right now, because you don't know the right people. It might change for me. It probably will change for me. But anyway, this I feel this comment a lot. So, all right, so let's keep going. Let's keep scrolling through here. They just fired, this was 20 hours ago, they just fired all probationary employees in OPM. They called a mandatory meeting at 1:30 Eastern Time for 2. Everyone sat on the call in silence after some attendees tried to communicate to others about union representation. They force muted everyone. Then they created another separate meeting at 2:30 with a live spoken speech from who was presumed to be the acting director, firing us all. Memos of termination came 13 minutes later. The second meeting invited at 97 people on the recipient. The first email came from OPM HR email. As far as known, no supervisors were told this was happening all the way to at least the division level. So this is the OPM, right? We've heard about the OPM. We know, this is one of the departments that's been focused on. I don't know too much about it, so let's find out, right? OPM. So the OPM, here's their website, United States Office of Personnel Management. Sounds like on the surface it sounds, I don't know anything about it, but it sounds like the HR department for the for the US government, if I had to guess. So let's find out. Let's see how right I am. Mission and history. Sure. We are champions of talent for the federal government. We lead federal agencies in workforce policies, programs, and benefits in service to the American people. We create a new vision of work together. We position federal government as a model employer for past, here we go, that'll help. For past and present employees through innovation, inclusivity, and leadership. We will build a rewarding culture that empowers the workforce to solve some of our nation's toughest challenges. Okay. Established as a standalone agency in 1978 to oversee federal workforce management. Okay, but roots date back to 1883. Civil Service Reform Act created the competitive civil service. This law requires federal government to hire public servants based on their skills and not their political affiliations. Okay, that's very important, right? Strong merit-based civil service is critical to functioning, ensures the history of OPM and its predecessor reflects our country's social, economic, and population growth, the changing needs of the American workforce, and key moments in the development of modern workforce management. Okay, so workforce management, right? So it is, like, from what I understand, the United States HR department, who we are, multiple office programs dedicated to upholding our mission to lead federal agencies and workforce policies. Okay. Right. So the director, office of director, human resources, chief financial, blah, blah, blah. Workforce policy innovation, retirement services, healthcare, merit. Okay, so they manage all of this for, I assume, what is all government employees. They manage their health and insurance system, their human resources, workforce policy. Okay, so that's the OPM. Basically a giant HR department. Okay, so it's just, they're just firing people. It's crazy. What else do we got here? We are all probationary employees today. This is exactly what the administration wants. Fear, low morale, and depression as a federal worker. OPM directs agencies to fire all probationary, right? Okay, we knew that. Preparing to get terminated, tips from a union steward. Yeah, that's another good question too. Are the unions federal unions? I'm part of a union. I think it's great. Let's see. National Federation of Federal Employees. Okay, so here we go. Let's see. Executive bios. National Federation of Employees is a national union representing approximately 110,000 blue and white collar government workers across the United States. They represent employees in the following departments and agency: our agriculture, forest, job corps, risk management, defense, Air Force, Army, engineers, Marine Corps, geological, like Park Service. All right, so they represent 110,000 federal employees. And what did I say before? The federal government employees, what was it, 2 million? Oh, okay. How many? Right, I wrote that down. Hold on, let's see if I think I wrote it down. Yeah, 2.4 million. Okay, so they represent a decent amount. I wonder if there are other federal unions. Fed unions take lead in resistance. Okay, so yeah, okay. So there are multiple unions representing these workers. So hopefully they'll have some protection there. That's what unions are there for. So yeah, so that's that. I don't know what time is it. 11:30. Let's go. Let's see. Why don't we go to? I'm gonna go to Nooner. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it a complete stream at Nooner. That's what I'm gonna do. All right. Well, I'm gonna check my comments here. Let's see. 4 upvotes. Okay. So maybe this post worked. We'll do that again. Again, thanks for watching. The handful of people who tuned in. Very good, very good, very good. So that worked. Let's see. What else can we talk about? We could go back to that subreddit. What am I doing? Home. Let's see. Oh, what's this? Russian crew taking pictures of an Air Force F-35 during Aero India 2025. Interesting. Russian crew looks like a senior bowling league. They kind of do. That's funny. All right. Let's see. I don't know. I'm kind of running low on steam here. But I don't know. Let's see. I haven't checked the news in a while. Let's see if we got something crazy happening. Let's see what the new headlines are. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. In speech to Europeans, Vance signals support for far-right parties. Fantastic. Okay. Russian drone damages Chernobyl. That sounds great. And then the Eric Adams dropping the case as a New York City resident. I think that's fucking crazy. It's like, not unexpected, but that's the fear that living in a blue state and living in New York City, bastion for liberal policies, that's it. That is concerning to me. Okay, here we go. Oh my God. Okay, so give me a second. I gotta log in. I hope this is the right. I have so many. I think this is it. Yeah, okay, good. Eric Adams. That's what I was talking about. So let's find that article. Sorry, I'm usually on the app, but I'm not right now. So I gotta find the Eric Adams, U.S., New York. Here we go. So, Manhattan prosecutor quit on Friday. The latest series of resignations. So this is what I was saying, right? This is the danger, and it affects everybody. It affects everybody. Living in New York City, I tell my wife that, when she gets nervous about what's happening in the country, I usually like to tell her, just be thankful that we live in New York. Be thankful that we have protections for women, protections for immigrants. You know, a reasonably good education system. You know, and especially in New York City too, for our kids, they're surrounded by culture. They're surrounded by uh, different races, different religions. They have friends across the board. Um, and they're exposed to everything. They see it. They see the crime. They see the homeless people. They see, you know, it's in their face, and we see it, and they get to. And I think, you know, for as off-putting that might be, they see it and they get to deal with it, right? Um, that's uh, that's what's important, and that's one of the things I value about living in New York City, is that you are living with millions of people, all with different uh, backgrounds and different requirements for their life, and yet we all seem to make it work. You know, this is what's scary though about this this second term, is that you know, it seems like Trump and his administration are preying on the weaknesses and exploiting the weaknesses of our leaders, especially in our blue states, right? Um, and this guy is for sure compromised. He is a what's the word? Advantageous. He's a I forget the word, but um, he's an opportunist, right? He takes advantage of opportunities. He has, you know, he has done favors for foreign dignitaries in exchange for free plane rides. And now, who knows what he's promised Trump? You know, he met with him down in Mar-a-Lago, and now this big story came out. They're dropping the charges against him, and if you read about it, it's really obvious that he fucked up, right? It's really obvious that he messed up, and he did some illegal things, and it seems pretty obvious. I think they even have him. They have text messages that where he's in essence gloating about the perks that he gets, you know, as mayor. Um, so now this charge is dropped, and what is he going to give Trump now, right? And the administration. This is the fear. This is also the fear I have about congestion pricing. Very divided. It's a very divided issue in New York. You know, you can't find a general consensus one way or another. I am totally for it. I don't like to drive in the city. I think the MTA needs all the money it can get. And I think if you want to drive in Manhattan, especially below 59th Street, that's more of a privilege. There's, you know, dozens of bus lines that run through there. There's, you know, um, almost every subway runs through there. You can get a cab, you know, ride a bike. You know, there's so many different ways to get there. And if you know, if you need to get to Lower Manhattan and you feel like you need to drive or would like to drive, I have no problem with paying a little extra. I live in Queens. I live by a subway station. I haven't seen any increase in parking. The From what I read, the stats from the first month of congestion pricing are all positive. Traffic's down, revenue on the subway is up, and the MTA in general, revenue is up. More commuters. It seems like it's working, and it seems like it's going to make money for the MTA, both in terms of increased ridership and, you know, tolls collected from the program. But, you know, Trump wants to get rid of it, right? Because, you know, people need to drive. People need to drive everywhere. It's not fair. It's infringing on our rights. But it's like things have got to change. Things need to change. And these people don't want things to change. The only thing they want to do is fire everybody. They want to change how much we spend in the federal government, which on the surface sounds great, but the way they're doing it is just, it is rife for those who in big positions who want to benefit from it. Anyway, so this is what is concerning. So let's go through some of these updates. We all, I think, most of us in New York City, we don't think he's the best mayor. I can't, I mean, crime is down a little bit, but like crime is already going down. Crime really isn't, I don't know if anybody's watching from New York. I'm sure people would like to debate it with me, but crime is low. It's still at one of the lowest levels in the history of the city since the really bad times of the 60s and the 70s and early 80s, up until the mid to late 90s. Crime is down. Murders keep going down. Violent crime, I think, violent crime rate was up a little bit last year, but still well below the alarmist levels. I ride the subway all the time. I always feel safe. Since COVID, there's been a rise in drug abusers and homeless people on the train, but even that, I would say the last year has been going down. I think that's probably just a side effect of ridership going up. There's a lot less empty cars. So homeless people generally don't ride the train when it's really, really busy. They do, but not as many. The number definitely goes down. But anyway, I'm off on a tangent. Nobody really likes Eric Adams. I don't know what his poll numbers are, but I haven't really talked to anybody that I know in my neighborhood who is happy with the mayor. And even if they are happy, it seems like it's just like a lucky coincidence because he just seems like a bumbling fool. Anyway, there are also calls for Hochul to use her power to remove him from office. Okay, co-director says the governor had a responsibility to protect the city because Adams had relinquished his responsibilities to New Yorkers. In some ways, this is not about Adams. It's about how we will keep our people safe from the abuses of a tyrant. Yeah, this is all troubling, right? It's all troubling. It's, like what's the right way here? We have an oligarch and a authoritarian leading president who want to exercise the full limit and even more so of their power to get what they want in the name of what the people want. So, and this is, to me, this is alarming, right? So, the New York Working Families Party, which I usually vote for, I'm a Democrat, but if the candidate is a Working Families Party member, I usually vote for them. Their values mimic my values, and I feel like I'm more in line with their line of thinking than Democrats in general. But this is, to call for the governor to remove the mayor from office. I don't know I don't know if that is within her power to do. I don't know if it's ever happened before. Let's find out. Okay, let's find out. Okay. Has the governor ever fired the mayor? Doesn't rule out moving in. Can a mayor be impeached? What's the term limit? Has it ever happened? I don't know. Section 9, removal of mayor. Okay, so here we go. This is the New York City Charter. The mayor may be removed from office by the governor upon charges and after service upon him of a copy of the charges and an opportunity to be heard in his defense. Pending the preparation and disposition of the charges, the governor may suspend the mayor for a period not exceeding 30 days. Okay, so it is within the governor's power. Can be removed from office as long as he's presented with a copy of the charges and an opportunity to be heard in his defense. The governor may suspend the mayor for a period not exceeding 30 days. So he just gets suspended for 30 days. Can he be removed? That doesn't really read like he can be removed from office. But anyway, I can't find any history on this. Maybe it's happened. Oh, here we go. Spectrum. Okay, New York saw the process. Okay, this is an article from September. This is when I believe the charges were brought to him. So New York, here we go. New York saw that play out in 1932 with then Mayor Jimmy Walker and then Governor Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Interesting. Jimmy Walker was a creature of Tammany Hall, Galway said, which is the corrupt Tammany Hall, I believe, was the corrupt time when the mayor's office was very corrupt, I believe. So if you look at what was going on in August and September of 1932, people are saying, what's this guy going to do? Galway said of the choice faced by Roosevelt. And what does it tell us about Roosevelt if he does X or if he does Y? Well, Walker resolved that himself by resigning. Okay, so by resigning September and taking a steamship to Europe. What? Oh my God, what? Okay. Ooh, I want to know more about that. What? So he fled town on a steamship? Okay, all right. Let's get to the bottom of this and then this will be it. Okay? Nobody's watching anymore. So this is just for me. Okay. This sounds neat. All right, so Jimmy Walker, mayor. Okay, let's find out. I like this. This sounds like a good story. Steamboat to Europe. All right. So, son of an Irishman. All right, I can relate. All right. So, all right, if anybody's joining me now, I got off on this tangent. All right. So we got a couple new people. I'm going to wrap this up a little bit. I'm going to go till around noon. We were talking about, the furlough and firing of probationary employees in the federal government. If you want to go back and watch that, feel free. But I'm wrapping things up now I found this, right? We started talking about Eric Adams. They dropped the charges. I was talking about how alarming that is, and the chairman of the Working Families Party wanted to suggested that our governor fire or remove Eric Adams from office. So I was curious. I'm like, can he do that? Yes, there's a stipulation that he can be removed, but the law, as I read it, made it seem like he can be removed for no longer than 30 days. And then I was like, oh, did this happen before? And it did happen before. And it almost did happen before. It almost happened to this guy, Jimmy Walker, and he was almost removed from office by then Governor Franklin Delano Roosevelt. So I'm intrigued about this. I'm going to read about this, and then we're gonna wrap it up. All right. So Walker was the son of an Irish-born dude. I'm Irish too, so that's cool. In Greenwich Village. Not the best student, dropped out of college, eventually graduating from New York Law School. Wanted to become a lawyer and politician. He would rather write songs and be involved in the music. And he wrote lyrics for a 1906 hit, Will You Love Me, in December, as you do in May. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Then he entered politics. He passed the bar exam, New York State Assembly. Then he was the state senator. Became the minority leader, temporary president of the Senate. All right. In the Senate, he strongly opposed prohibition. My man. During his tenure, Walker was often seen on the floor accompanied by his reformist activist and future urban planner and key Al Smith ally, Robert Moses. Boo. Al Smith, I think, was a pretty good guy. I think I'm loosely related to Al Smith, by the way. BTW. So anyway, okay, let's keep going. Running for mayor. Okay, after his year, Walker set his sights and ran for mayor. Okay. Oh, I love this. Is cool. I like this New York history. 1925 Democratic primary. Walker knew that to ultimately win the mayoral election, he had to defeat the mayor, John Francis Hyland. Walker's reputation as a flamboyant man about town made him a hero to many working class voters. He was often seen at legitimate theaters and illegitimate speakeasies. Ooh. Walker was a clothes horse. His valet packed 43 suits for his trip to Europe in August 1927. On the other hand, his reputation for tolerating corruption, tolerating corruption made him suspect to the middle class. All right, Governor Alfred E. Smith was his mentor. Okay, Smith was a staunch supporter since Walker backed many social and cultural issues to be considered politically important. The repeal of laws against Sunday. Oh, interesting. Repeal of blue laws against Sunday baseball games and condemning the Ku Klux Klan. Good for him. Their mutual opposition to prohibition was especially important in their political relationship. All right. Smith used his base in the strong political machine of Tammany Hall to secure victory. Finally, Walker himself had to be willing to change some of his more unscrupulous ways, or at least provide a cover for his indiscretions. All right, as with many things in Walker's life, he chose the latter. All right, providing a cover. So he didn't, instead of ending his visits to speakeasies and his friendships with chorus girls, he took those activities behind the closed doors of a penthouse funded by Tammany Hall. Okay. So he was mayor from 1926 to 1932. Scandal and resignation, increasing social unrest. So this was 1932. So this was after the stock market crash. All right. Poland's support for Walker's image was further solidified by quotes like, a reformer is a guy who rides through a sewer in a glass bottom boat. Okay. Anyway. Increasing social unrest led into corruption, investigation into corruption in Walker's administration. He was forced to testify before the investigative committee of Judge the Seabury Commission. Okay. Walker caused his own downfall by accepting large sums of money from businessmen looking for municipal contracts. This is, you know, kind of loosely similar to what Eric Adams had been doing. Oh, okay. Police officers were given more money in their paycheck. Oh, okay. With New York City appearing as a symbol of corruption under Mayor Walker, Governor Franklin D. Roosevelt knew he had to do something about Walker and his administration. Roosevelt felt compelled to do so, but risked losing Tammany Hall's support for the Democratic nomination for president. On the other hand, if Roosevelt did nothing or let Walker off, the national newspapers would consider him weak. Facing pressure from Roosevelt, Walker eluded questions about his personal bank accounts, stating instead, some blah blah blah. He delayed any personal appearances until after Roosevelt's nomination was secured. It was then that the embattled mayor could fight it no longer. Months from his national election, Roosevelt decided that he must remove Walker from office. Walker agreed and resigned. He went on a grand tour of Europe with Compton, his Ziegfeld. Oh, this is great. He announced in November while on board that he had no desire or intention of ever holding public office again. He stayed in Europe until the danger of criminal prosecution appeared remote. There he married Compton. Interesting. So, there you go. Oh, and then he's buried. He's buried in the Gate of Heaven Cemetery. You can go visit him. In Westchester County, New York. Interesting. All right. Former mayor. Scandalized and forced out of office and forced to flee the country on a steamboat to marry his lady, Compton, and promised never to ever get involved in politics ever again. Cool. Very interesting. All right. That's Jimmy Walker for you. The old school Eric Adams. Okay. I think that's all I can muster for today. I thank everybody who checked in with me and, watched. This is only going to get better, I promise. I might take the weekend off and then hit it hard again on Monday or Tuesday. Please like and follow this video. Comment with any suggestions. Again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, especially 12 Tanner 90 for the thumbs up and the encouraging words. And hopefully I can continue to do this. And hopefully I can make this a thing. Either this or the television and film industry bounces back and I start working again. But anyway, thank you very much. Hopefully not much happens over the weekend. Please do check out the Fed news, especially for what's going on lately. Please check out the Fed news subreddit. It is, I've found it's like a nice little pipeline and window in firsthand knowledge and experience of what's going on for these thousands and thousands of people who thought they had work, thought they were doing good work, and are sadly no longer employed at their jobs with the federal government. I'll finish with this. If you guys, I'm a pretty big follower of AOC. She, like Bernie, is I feel speaks for us, and I also feel like, uh, especially AOC has she's got great ideas, and she's got great suggestions of, even though it feels a little helpless and you feel powerless, there are things you can be doing, little things. And one of the things that she has did mention last week is that we call our local representatives in Congress and our Senate. Just call your politicians. And then she said at one point, hop on what's it called? 5 calls. There's this app that you can get. It's called 5 calls. And it is great. It works. Here, let's go. I'll just do this and then I'll be done. So 5 calls. So 5 calls is this app. I mean, you can go to the website too, but it makes it really easy to contact your local representatives and and let them know your position on issues. She said AOC mentioned that Republicans are always good at calling their representatives, and it on the surface it doesn't really seem like it does anything or changes their minds, but at the very least, especially if many of us are calling it, it puts a little bit of pressure on these politicians to know that that their constituents, even if it's something that they won't change their mind on, but it lets them know that kind of the tide is turning, and a lot of people in their districts are unhappy with the job that they're doing. So it's easy. All you do is you do this on the app or on the website. You put in your zip code. That's where I live, and what's important to you. You pick something. Fight the constitutional crisis. It gives you a script to read, and it lays out all your contacts out for everybody. So it tells you who to call, and it tells you what to say, and it helps to put pressure on your representatives, especially if you live in a red state, especially if you live in a red district. These Republican representatives, especially because the margin of the majority is so tight in Congress and the Senate, especially if you live in a red district, you should be calling these people like 2 or 3 times a week, I think, to let them know, to read the script, to contact them and let them know what's going on and how you feel about it. I just wanted to finish with that. Thanks again for watching. This was probably about 400 to 600% more people than were watching me today than they were watching yesterday, because yesterday it was 0. So that's great. So like I said, I'm going to try to do this again next week, hopefully around the same time. This could be like a little morning show. Again, thank you very much. Everybody have a great weekend. Hang in there. Do something for yourself. Get outside. Stay away from the news for a little bit, and do something for yourself. All right? Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. And I will see you next week. Good.